place in Watford? I think it's Letchworth Heath or whatever. What's that place? I don't understand what that is.
That's a manor house which was donated by George Harrison in 1973 for our society.
I've been there.
As a preaching centre.
And it seems very materialistic to me. It's beautiful.
What do you mean by materialistic?
Well, I don't know. It's what do you mean about
material means that which we accept to be real with the false idea that I am this body. And spiritual means, in full knowledge, that which we do for the pleasure of Krishna.
As far as I can see, you keep mentioning material needs just to say cover up for anything that you have in life. For instance, the trainers that you've got on, the shelter that you've got, the heat that comes through. So all the things that you want, you've taken. And yet, when it comes to people asking you about what you think of the material world, you seem to say, oh, we don't want anything on the material world. We want the spiritual self. We can sit there in a room on the floor without a bed.
One has this material body.
But you are using those material possessions. How can you say you're not?
We have this material body. And therefore, we have a certain duty to maintain the body. But one doesn't have to spend 24 hours a day maintaining the body.
But no one does. Nobody's got the time in this life to do that. So with those bare necessities...
So the average life that most people live is what? They get up, having had generally too much sleep. They immediately
again,
splash themselves
you're
with some
talking
water.
about somebody who's got all the time in the world. Whereabouts do you work? Do you have any other responsibilities? Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
So how can a normal person who's living in this world say, I'd like to follow Krishna, I'll give up everything else, I don't want to know anything about material possessions?
A working man who's got children, how does he give up his...
How can you cope?
How can he
be realistic?
Satisfy the needs of his children?
Just be realistic.
One has a certain duty to his body, but he doesn't have to spend 24 hours a day. So, everything belongs to Krishna. If one takes what he needs to maintain his family out of life...
But don't you think Krishna would like you to live with a family and having the things that he's actually offered you on this earth with every, with every convenience?
This world is a prison house, so there may be some facilities here, but the idea isn't to remain comfortable here. The idea is to get out. We haven't natural position for the soul.
Hare Krishna followers believe in reincarnation. Now, what's that mean? Could you just
literally
explain?
transmigration of the soul.
Transmigration. Can you explain that?
I'll explain. The soul is residing presently within a temporary material form. This form goes through various changes: birth, growth, maintenance for some time, producing some byproducts, dwindling and dying. So at the time of death, that simply means that he gives up this old body and accepts a new one.
So basically, you live many lives. Is that what it is?
There's a cycle of repeated birth and death. There's 8,400,000 species with different types of sense organs.
Have you been reincarnated?
And what I'm hearing from you for the last 5 minutes is an Indian myth, which is a very lovely, beautiful Indian myth.
You say it's a myth.
It seems to me you've given no reasons why you believe any of this. You've given no sort of arguments why we should accept any of this. I mean, it's just like you're telling us a story. It's a very lovely story, and the Hare Krishna lifestyle does seem to be a very aesthetically beautiful lifestyle.
So?
But it doesn't make any sense to me with a rational mind. It doesn't. I just can't understand it rationally. And I'm not prepared, frankly, to deny my rationality. And it seems, and I get the impression that some of your people do.
Yeah, we seem to be being told stop thinking and just get on with it.
No, we didn't say stop
It
thinking.
almost sounds...
Could you answer that?
Let's have an answer.
Could you answer
Let's have an
that?
answer.
What are you actually asking me to answer at this point?
Well, why is it that you're not giving us any rational arguments?
I'm giving rational arguments.
To us,
but whether or not...
To us at the moment, it just sounds like you're chanting. When you chant, you just chant. You keep saying the same things.
Have you tried the chanting?
I haven't tried it myself, but I've heard you actually chant. And so that's how it sounds to us for the last 10, 15 minutes. That's what you've been doing, just saying the same things. It's almost as if you're brainwashed not to tell us anything else. You're going straight along that path, and we don't know anything else that's going on. It's the chanting. What do you get out of that?
For example, explain...
I would personally be very suspicious to take up the chanting, because I'm suspicious that it would have that kind of lulling effect on my mind. That it would dull my ability to ask questions and to think clearly.
But the devotees actually ask the most questions about life.
How do you teach your children?
People aren't questioning when they're being taught things at school. And the people aren't questioning, where do you get this information from? because it suits what they want to hear.
I'm not talking about that, I'm talking
because it
about
suits what they want to hear. People want to cater to the demands of the body because that's cheap and easy.
Aren't you generalising about
just
people?
like there's so many kinds of spiritual life that cater to what people want to hear.
Yeah.
So Krishna Consciousness, we're not trying to cater to necessarily what the conditioned soul wants to hear, but we're trying to awaken within the sincere living entity the desire for spiritual success.
Or you're trying to turn everyone into the same kind of person.
No,
and when you
there's
say,
more variety
you don't
in
say
spiritual
I.
life.
You never say I. You
Everyone
say
in
we.
the material world thinks himself the center of everything. I, me, mine, right?
Yeah.
And basically, whatever variety there may be is all around that same theme. Now, in the spiritual world, it's different. Everyone wants to become the humble servant of Krishna. And the competition is how to become the servant the most removed from Krishna, how to serve his devotees first. And there is much more variety within that.